Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Kerha Kadash. All praises, honor, glory, love, respect, faith, and power, and trust, and all credit to my Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and my Heavenly Big Brother, Yahweh Shah. Thank you so much what you done, what you're doing, and what you're going to do. Double honors to your apostles and elders and bishops of GMS, Great Millstone, who I learned from, and all the men scattered all over the world, teaching His truth and none but the truth in the name, spirit, and the power, Yahweh Bashim Shah. Trying to put a spiritual bug in you Hebrew Israelites' ears, you so-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and you speckled birds. And was a speckled bird, that be a Hebrew Israelite that looked like some of the heathen nations, like for example, a Hebrew Israelite that looked like a so-called white person or so-called Chinese person, etc., etc. Got some videos lined up about It-Joo-Amalek. Gonna play these videos. I'm gonna get into the scripture my best ability. Say whatever God say through spirit and power. Yahweh Bashim Shah, the Holy Spirit of Kerha Kadash, Lord willing be on me. Let's get it.
So question, when's the last time we checked the ingredients on our favorite yogurt, ice cream, Oreos? Most people don't, and the food industry is counting on that. Because what's about to be in those products is not what we think it is, and the story of how it got there involves Israel and our tax dollars.
Israel, but Amalek.
Yup, we are quite literally talking goy. Let's get into it. Okay, so first let's talk bioreactors. A bioreactor is basically a giant industrial tank. You put cells or microorganisms in, you feed them nutrients, they grow, they produce something. Think fermentation with beer, yogurt, kombucha, but instead of making alcohol, you're making dairy proteins, meat protein, cocoa butter. No animal, no farm, no rainforest, just a tank. Yum. There are 3 versions of this that you need to know about. The first is cultivated meat. This is where you take a small biopsy of cells from a living animal, no slaughter required. So here you go, vegans. You drop them in a tank and the cells multiply into this mush of muscle tissue that you then press into the shape of a steak or a burger patty, whatever the product's supposed to be. The second is precision fermentation dairy, where you take the specific gene responsible for making milk protein in a cow, insert it into yeast or bacteria, drop that into a tank with water and sugar. The bacteria then multiplies and produces milk protein as a byproduct. Again, no cow, just a tank. And the third is cell cultured cocoa. So this is where they extract real cells from cocoa beans, put them in a bioreactor, and 2 beans end up producing what would normally take 4 tons of cocoa and 10,000 square meters of rainforest. Now the industry will tell you that this is the same thing as the real version. You know, that the cells are real, the proteins are identical, it's just a more efficient process. Well, that's their framing, not mine. Because something grown in a tank is not the same thing as something grown in a field or a farm or a rainforest. The end molecule might be similar, sure, that's debatable, but the process is completely different, and we deserve to decide what we put in our bodies. First, let's talk about the companies we've never heard of that are already in or almost in our food. The top 3 precision fermentation dairy companies in the world right now are Perfect Day, Remilk, and Imagine Dairy. 2 out of the 3 are Israeli. Just keep that in mind. Perfect Day, an American company out of California. It's already on shelves with Brave Robot ice cream, Modern Kitchen cream cheese. Their whey protein is in commercial food products right now. We've probably walked past it without knowing. Remilk, an Israeli company, FDA approved, already launched in Israeli grocery stores in January 2026 and eyeing a US launch this year. Imagine Dairy, also Israeli, also FDA approved. Danone, the company behind Silk and So Delicious, already took a minority stake, and they're actively seeking US partnerships right now. All of them go into the same things, you know, all your favorite dairy products, milk, yogurt, ice cream, cream cheese, and they don't even have to replace the whole product. Just 5 to 35%, you know, enough to be there, but not enough for you to notice. Now let's talk about the chocolate, okay? Because this is the one that actually got me mad. Like, this is kind of what started this all for me. There's Celeste Bio. It's another Israeli company making the cell-cultured cocoa butter. Mondelez, the company that makes Oreos, Cadbury, Toblerone, Chips Ahoy, has invested in them twice. Already developed nearly a dozen chocolate bars using their fake cocoa butter. They are targeting 2027 for commercial scale, meaning they want to put this in our Oreos on our shelves come year 2027. Ew. And then there's Kokomoto, also Israeli, also the fake cocoa. No consumer product yet. They are still very early, but Cargill just signed a partnership with them in February 2026 to develop the cell-based chocolate. If you don't know Cargill, okay, they are the largest privately held food company in the United States, one of the biggest in the world, actually Tyson's biggest competitor, and McDonald's primary supplier for just about everything, like beef, oil, eggs. Most Americans have never heard of them, but you might have one of their products in your pantry right now. I could do a whole episode on Cargill and the family behind them, okay? But for now, just know this is not a small fish writing a check, okay? This is a huge partnership between the US and Israel. On the meat side, the fake chicken is already here. Upside Foods, backed by the usual suspects, Bill Gates, Richard Branson, Jeff Bezos, and Good Meat, both got full FDA and USDA approval in 2023 and are already being served in select US restaurants, so watch out for that chicken. But what's interesting about this one is the second it went public, the pushback started. Italy actually banned lab-grown meat outright in December 2023. Production, sale, import, all of it. Their agricultural minister basically stood on business and said, absolutely not, Bill. Hungary then followed suit, and we have Austria, France, Greece, several other European countries moving in the same direction. Then there's a...
But of course, America is all down for it.
Aleph Farms, and this is the main Israeli cultivated beef company, okay? This is the big one, and get this, they are also backed by Cargill. Aleph actually got blocked here at home in the United States. Florida, Texas, and 5 other states banned lab-grown red meat specifically, because remember, we have the chicken here, we also have fake salmon. But farmers and the cattle industry saw it coming, took the fight public, and so the beef is out for now. But Aleph Farms was not too happy about this, so bet they're gonna try again. Then there's Believer Meats, another major Israeli fake meat company. They actually collapsed in late 2025. They just ran out of money, apparently. I only bring them up because they were backed heavily by Tyson. So I don't know if you're noticing a pattern.
Well, anyway, yeah. Amalek is responsible for some of this food, lab-grown food, and that's what they pushing. And they're getting rid of the farmers, they're getting rid of livestock, they're getting rid of factories that process or even grow all that other shit. Anyway, yeah. This is what happens when the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. And pretty soon these niggas gonna want us to eat lab-grown food. We pray like heaven, Lord, to get speed up the time and get us out of here. Anyway, if you want to watch the rest of the video, they go to title of it, they go to channel. Let me get a scripture too. It shows you these motherfuckers ain't the people, man. They are not the fucking people. If they were the people, they'll leave things alone. They will follow the ways of the Lord and respect the order. Oh, behind it, just notice the book right there says chaos. Yeah, it sure will be. It's pretty soon. Goodness gracious, man. But this what happens when the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. Niggas, these niggas are fucking nasty, bruh. What the fuck? Hold on, let me get a scripture. Damn, these motherfucking niggers. The true niggers, Amalek, the so-called, well, Esau, so-called white man. I'll start with Esau and then work my way to Amalek. The so-called white man, but he ain't white, he's red, he's a baby dick sucking Jewish faggot nigger. Amalek. Goodness gracious, bruh. Ezekiel chapter 4 verse 13, and the Lord Yahweh said, even thou child, the children of Israel, talking about you so-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Middle Indians, and you speckled birds that look like the heathen. Yeah, eat their defiled breads among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. You know, so this is punishment from the Lord, and we praying for the Lord. Hey man, that enough is enough. Enough is enough. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of it, but you know, we still gotta deal with the punishment. Goodness gracious, bro. This shit is... Anyway, if you want to watch the rest of the video, like I said, I go to the title of the channel. Let's get to the next video.
Europe river cruising, 13 days, $29.99.
In Jerusalem, the streets are burning, and the protesters are not Palestinian. Ultra-Orthodox Jews have flooded Israel's roads in protest of the draft, blocking traffic, clashing with...
And how is this supposed to happen to these people? These people supposed to be the chosen ones. They supposed to be the highly divine, super-duper holy people known in the Bible. But they about to be drafted for World War III. Or they being drafted into the Iran and whatever war.
Police throwing stones at their own. One was filmed shouting, "Kill..."
They're divided. Kill the Jews. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. They said kill the Jews. But they're Jewish. I mean Jews, so supposedly.
The Jews at Israeli officers. Throwing stones at their own. One was filmed shouting, "Kill the Jews" at Israeli officers. The army of David is being asked to fight, and from inside, it is fracturing.
Out of here. And then plus they being forced to draft into a war. They don't supposed to be no wars. If they the chosen people, they get to that scripture doing right. Let's get to that. For you people, you people in trouble. Isaiah chapter 2 verse 4. And he shall judge among the nations. They talking about this is Yahweh Shah. And shall rebuke many people. He gonna be checking these damn heathens. And they shall beat their swords and the plowshares and their spears and the pruning hooks. They're supposed to turn their weapons of warfare like a gun to a nuclear bomb. The shells of the metal, anything made out of metal, supposed to be turning that shit into gardening tools. But are they doing that now? No, they're doing the opposite. They already been doing the opposite. They ain't going back to no agriculture until the Lord returns. But that's another thing. The Lord supposed to be here too, like I said. But he's not here yet. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, but look what they're doing. They're doing that. Neither shall they learn war anymore. But look, hey, they're doing that. They're still warring with one another. War strategies. Come on, bro. Y'all gotta snap out of this shit, man. This This is proof that shows you these people, and there's so much more proof showing you these people are not the people. And they supposed to be dwelling in safety, but are they? No. Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 28. And you got the IDF soldiers snatching them rats up. They snatching them rats up. They grabbing them by the collar and hauling their asses off. Little wimpy little niggers. And all they ain't the warriors of David. Them niggas don't look like no fucking warriors. They look like a little bunch of rats. Shit, these little skinny wimps.
Israel is once again facing a deep internal crisis.
Yeah, they and then plus they dealing with all the threats going on outside the country and inside the country. What the fuck? These people are not safe. No, Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. But where's that safety at? Them rats about to get hauled off into the damn training camp to fight. And there ain't supposed to be no wars. The foundation of Jacob shall be upon a land of corn and wine. Also, his heaven shall rain down dew. But hell, currently what's going on in Israel is raining down missiles and rockets and shit and drones with explosives. Yeah. Jeremiah chapter 23 verse 6. In his days, Judah shall be saved. That be the southern kingdom. And Israel, the rest of the other tribes of the northern kingdom, shall dwell safely. But is that happening to these niggers? Nope. And this is the name whereby he shall be called the Lord Yahweh our righteousness. Yeah. Them niggas, come on, man. And this is this generation. They really believe they are the people. Because they've been brainwashed to believe that they are. All they got to do is read the Bible, nigga. All you got to do is read the Bible, nigga. Stop reading Stop reading the Talmud. You ain't reading the Torah, nigga. You reading the Talmud, nigga. Shit, you fucking niggers. You baby dick sucking, dude. Let me stop, because this video going on YouTube, so let me just let it play.
Over military service, as ultra-Orthodox protests erupt across the country.
What the fuck happened to my screen?
Amid growing tensions.
I be like, y'all niggas better stop fucking around.
Over the controversial draft law and the arrest of draft dodgers.
They're getting arrested for dodging a war? That's supposed to not be no war. Like I said, they're the chosen people. They're so divided.
Demonstrations broke out across central Israel and Jerusalem on May 20.
And them old head rats, they should know better, but they want to continue on the lie. They know they're not the people. Them young ones don't. They don't know it.
28th, with protesters.
Now let's not get it twisted. You gonna have Israelites amongst these niggas that dressed up like them. You better quit that shit and repent to Yahweh Shema Shah if you feeling this.
Blocking major roads, clashing with police, and disrupting public order following calls from senior ultra-Orthodox leaders to resist the latest wave of arrests linked to military conscription. The protests came after Rabbi Zvi Friedman instructed supporters to take to the streets in response to what ultra-Orthodox groups describe as increasing pressure on yeshiva students to enlist in the Israeli military. In Jerusalem, police officially declared the protest at the Bar Ilan intersection a riot, as officers from both Israel Police and Border Police moved in to disperse demonstrators blocking roads. According to police,
they trying to snatch that nigga out of his vehicle.
Police officer and a passerby were both lightly injured after stones were thrown at security forces operating at the scene. Footage circulating on social media.
Soon these motherfuckers gonna start running them rats over. They're gonna be squishing them rats. They gonna pile through them rats. They gonna gun them rats down. They get in their way in the military.
Show one protester shouting "Itbah al-Yahud," an Arabic phrase meaning "kill the Jews."
Man, they're so divided. They threatening their own people's lives.
At police officers during the clashes. In a statement released during the unrest, the Israeli police said,
Wait a minute, one of them rats was down.
In a statement released during the unrest, the Israeli police said,
Israel police will allow freedom of expression and protest according to the law. At the same time, we will not allow a blatant violation of public order while harming freedom of movement, and we will act resolutely to restore order.
Some demonstrators were seen wearing black ribbons tied around their wrists as a symbol of solidarity with what organizers referred to as prisoners of the Torah world.
Oh my goodness, shut up, nigga. Anyway, enough of this garbage. Enough of this fucking hot mess garbage. Kill the Jews. Oh, hold on. Hold on, let me not say it. Let them say it. Because then they're going to use that. Let's run that sound bite. Yeah, we got them. We got them, nigga. He said, Luke chapter 12, verse 51, this Yahweh Shah saying, suppose ye that I come to give peace on earth. No, I tell you nay, but rather division. People are divided, plus those rats are. Rats wearing those small baby hats, some little caps, some little beanies. Sometimes on Abraham Lincoln hats, or the ones that look like, where's the other hat? I don't know what the fuck that is. That's like Abraham Lincoln. He got the high top hat and you got the low top hat. And here go the beanie crew, the beanie babies, the beanie and Benjamin Big Ear beanie baby wearing hat or whatever. Where is this nigga at? This nigga still in the hospital? I guess so. Shit. What is it? Mark chapter 3 verse 23. And he called unto them and let me wait on that because I got another video about Jew versus Jew. Let me get to that real quick and then I'll go back to that scripture.
Yeah, this elevator's been a dream. We've
Wow, look at you. Wow. Yeah, you're gonna spit on people, you weirdo? Get out of here.
Nobody wants your Jew germs, you nasty bitch. Stank breath heifer.
I'm here with Garland.
They what they good for? They go and spitting on people and shit. Oh, nasty ass. Oh, is this in America? Oh, the Zionists versus the good Jews versus the bad Jews. There ain't no fucking such thing. They're all Amalek.
What I want to talk to you about in this segment is, I remember when I had Dan Balzerian on. Is that his name, Balzerian or Bilzerian?
Bilzerian.
Bilzerian.
I was gonna watch him.
Ooh, don't want to say it wrong. I tried to, stress to him that it's not Jews, although in Israel the problem is Jewish supremacy. That's for sure. But that's Zionism, right? Zionism is built on.
Nigga, please. It's just what I see is division amongst Esau and Amalek. In this case, it's Amalek. The regular Edomite doesn't count in this picture.
Jewish supremacy.
They're not divine enough. They're not super divine Edomites, but these niggas are. And boy, they divided.
But not all Jews are Zionists, right? In fact,
yeah, but still, and then first off, they're not Jews. That's the Southern Kingdom. And when it comes to Southern Kingdom, all they claim themselves to be is Judah. I don't see no Benjamin Levi. Oh, Levi be the what was it? The what you call them folks? The Ethiopians. That's Levi right there. Huh? Them saltless bastards. They just as saltless as these niggas are. Now you're gonna have Israelites amongst the Ethiopians and the baby dick suckers, but a majority of them are saltless. Boy, they have no flavor, bruh. Shit.
I would say most of the ones I know aren't, and most of the ones resent the fact that Zionists are saying that Israel speaks for all Jews, which they do not. From Jeffrey Sachs, who's a friend of the show, it says he resents that, to people like Russell Dobular and Keaton Weiss, two Jews who do this show all the time. They also, so everybody I know resents it who's a Jew. Again, I don't talk to most of the.
But see, cats like him and many others, they can get a pass because long as they're talking about Zionists is okay. When you put all of them together as Amalek, he did mention Amalek before, so I think redacted. But he ain't saying, who is Amalek? Well, I know he's talking about them niggas. All of them together. But that's what they are. That's what they are. Amalek from Esau. All together. But they all getting on, talking about some daggone the good Jews and bad Jews. Get the fuck out of here.
Most of the Jews in Hollywood anymore, because,
Oi! I don't want any trouble.
And so, but here's a good example of that. There's some Hasidic Jews out, and they're protesting this idea that Zionists conflate Judaism with Zionism. By the way, that used to be considered anti-Semitic to do that, right? And now it's not, because they see the utility in conflating their religion with a political movement based on Jewish supremacy. So here they are out there, the Hasidics are out there, and they're protesting just the state of Israel itself. And Daniel Mayakovsky says, see how the Zionists spat today on Jews who were protesting, demanding an end to the genocide and the Zionist apartheid in Israel? These Zionists are truly the biggest anti-Semites. Most of them are atheists who decided to put a kippah, what is a kippah? To seize land on Palestinians with their crimes. They harm the true religious Jews. Let's watch. So watch this lady spit on them. Wow, look at you. Wow.
She spitting on them like they Christians. She hauled up a big stinking icky sticky loogie on them niggas. She probably dribbling on the bottom of her lip. She like bleh, drooling. Nasty bitch.
Wow.
Yeah, I was gonna say something else. She probably regurgitated some of that Simon from. Please shut up.
Yeah, you're gonna spit on people, you weirdo? Get out of here. Get.
Yeah, yeah. Gonna be spreading disease and shit everywhere. Goddamn, we're spreading Ebola
So
with a spit.
that's probably an atheist Jew, right?
No, that's just a gutter rat bitch. Just an Amalekite bitch.
Because let's remember, most of those Zionists, like Benjamin Netanyahu, are avowed atheists. Yet they say
No,
that
they're no atheists. They just all satanic Amalekites. That's all.
God promised them that land, which is the hilarity of the whole situation, or the irony of it. So let's watch it again. You want to see her spit again? Wow! Look at you!
She spit on them like they some bunch of Christians.
Wow! Yeah, you're gonna spit on people, you weirdo? Get out of here! So they're spitting on Hasidic Jews as if they're Christians in Israel. Because that's what they do in Israel. I'll show you one more confrontation between an anti-Zionist and a Zionist. Who do you think is the Zionist, and who do you think is that's the Zionist? Let's watch their little argument they had on the street.
You are traitor. You are traitor. Go to Gaza. Go. They want you in Gaza. Why you don't go to Gaza? Why you don't go to Gaza? Why you don't go? Why you don't go to Gaza? We are the best people in the world. You are not people. You are Amalek.
I love it. I fucking love it, man. I love seeing my enemies tearing themselves to pieces, bro. They ain't fighting each other, but they are soon. They oh man, I fucking love it, bro. I am so happy to see this day come, to see these motherfuckers cussing at each other, spitting at each other. Soon they gonna be throwing punches, and then they gonna be shooting lead at each other. Which, let me calm down, boy. I love to see my enemies in this state right now. I love it.
The world is all against what you're doing.
So he's saying, why don't you go to Gaza? Hey, why don't you go to Gaza?
Yeah, why don't you go, bitch? You heavy on the support of genocide. Why don't you participate in it?
Why don't you go to Israel? And then he calls them
he ain't going to Israel because he already left out that bitch. Yeah, just like all the rest of them rats, they hightail on out there going to other countries because it's getting too dangerous. Shit, they ain't got the balls to take the bummings.
Right, which is the biblical reference.
Anyway, I'm gonna stop it there. Oh man, I would love to hear more and play more, but you can play more. I don't want to play no more of this because I just want to get to the script board, but I still love it. I love to see my enemies, and I know you got to love to see your enemies just tearing each other to yeah. All I want to see is some blood from both sides and beating the shit out of each other. The divine divine people are fucking themselves up. And the regular Edomites too. Yeah, don't want to forget about you too. Yeah, but here's the title of the video. They go to channel. Let me get to the scripture. Mark chapter 3 verse 23. And he called on to them in parables. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry to start over. And he called on to them. He called on to him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? If a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, which you can see that house cannot stand. You see these two niggas right here fighting each other. You go to Gaza. You go to Gaza. You go to Gaza. When y'all both go to Gaza, get blown the fuck up, nigga. Shut the fuck up, you rats. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob has the beginning of their followers. And I love to see my enemies so divided, bruh. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. There ain't no such thing as a good Jew or a bad Jew. What he said? Pro-Zionist and anti-Zionist. Man, get the fuck. They all Amalek, nigga. Next video.
At a time when the price of tools and everything else only seems to go up, Harbor Freight is
that was seen on the uniform of an Israeli soldier. Look closely. What do you see? You see Palestine,
Greater Israel,
Saudi Arabia, Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, Egypt, and a small part of Turkey. And next to it is written, the Promised Land. What does this mean? Are Israel only fighting a defensive war? Or do they have a hidden agenda to continue to expand their land by taking over the countries around them?
Naftali Bennett, we showed it on this show. He gave a speech where he said that Israel has to turn their attention towards Turkey. And now, here's a new video of that Israeli spy Jonathan Pollard, who Trump released. Here's what he said what's up next for Israel. Listen to this.
I'm not so sure that we will have as easy a time with the Turks as we've had with the Iranians. I've been following Turkish.
The Turkish, was it Gomer? Them niggas got a tough ass army and some. They got like a badass army over there.
Military doctrine and
the strongest army in the Middle East.
The storm is coming.
Yes, of course. And they're a member of NATO.
And even worse, they're a member of NATO. So I look at Iran as a problem we absolutely...
But how long will that last? They talking about pulling away from NATO. I don't know. They probably will stick around with NATO. I don't know.
Absolutely have to.
Maybe not. No, I don't think so.
Finish. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Gaza, same thing. And the Hezbollah. Why? Why am I fixated on this now? Because...
And another thing, too, they're attacking the rats of them attacking NATO countries. Why, man? Try to say that they did it. Go get them. But it's actually everybody like, no, nigga, we know you did it. Come on, bro. Stop that shit, nigga.
Because we have to be prepared for the next war, which will be probably against Turkey and Egypt.
Right. So let me just, Jimmy, before you start, explain who Jonathan Pollard was. He gave the Israelis all of the intelligence information on our assets, including human assets, in the Soviet Union.
Boy, that nigga red as fuck. There ain't no such thing as white on him. There ain't no white on this guy. They're just straight up red as hell.
And the Israelis traded that information for the release of Jews. But they shut down the U.S. intelligence he shut down the U.S. intelligence in the Soviet Union, and did tremendous damage to the American ability to understand what was happening. And that is why he wasn't released for so long. And so, I just want to be clear that he was spying for Israel, but it was an effort by him and by Israel to do tremendous damage to the intelligence networks of the United States.
Yeah, and he did it. And
he did it. And he's a nut, by the way.
Oh, of course. Anyone in power now is over in Israel. But what he's talking about, which I think more people are starting to realize what he's talking about, is if you see, this is what's on the armband of the IDF soldiers. Can you take there you go. So you see this, and then there's this in Hebrew next to it. And so this is the map of what they call the Greater Israel. Here, I'll just play this very quick. This will explain what this is.
That was seen on the uniform of an Israeli soldier. Look closely. What do you see? You see Palestine, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, Egypt, and a small part of Turkey. And next to it is written, the Promised Land. What does this mean? Are Israel only fighting a defensive war? Or do they have a hidden agenda to continue to expand their land by taking over the countries around them?
So this is why Israel is in perpetual war, and why they allowed October 7th to happen. In fact, they funded it, made sure it happened, and told their army, the military, to stand down. So it could.
Oh no, they was stand. Well, they were still active. The military was gunning their own citizens down and their own soldiers, and saying that Hamas did it. Yep.
Happened, so they could use that as a pretext, just like we use 9/11 as a pretext to go in and do all those other wars for Israel, Iraq and Libya and all that stuff. And so this is the Greater Israel Project, right? So that's why they're in Lebanon. That's why they're talking about going into Turkey, which is, he says, a NATO member. Now you realize Trump wants to pull us out of NATO. Maybe that's one of the reasons why, because Israel doesn't want us to have to abide by Article 5, which says that we have to defend anybody in NATO who's attacked. So so more people are becoming aware of what this actually is. This is the Greater Israel Project. Israel is and the United States are the world's terrorists. So by far, it's not Iran, it's not ISIS or Al Qaeda, which we just installed the chief head chopper of Al Qaeda as the head of Syria, and he's welcomed at the White House and on Downing Street, right? So even though
yeah, I remember that, and he was even playing basketball. He was playing basketball on White House grounds last year. I think it was last year. I was like, it's damn amazing, man. This nigga was busting alley-oops and goddamn finger rolls out there on the basketball court of the White House. Shit. He was doing good. I thought he probably could be a J. He was doing some nasty moves, boy. He was rolling finger rolls. He was hitting them J's and them 3-pointers. Just net. Chop. Just chopping them nets. Let me stop.
Still have Guantanamo. It's this guy. So that's what people are now waking up to this thing called the Greater Israel Project, which I didn't know about until October 7th, and now I know everything about it. And I didn't know about the Nakba. I didn't know anything, but like most people now I do because of this, and it's horribly backfired. And so, do you think that we can stop this Greater Israel? I mean, they're a country of what?
Yeah, it's gonna be stopped by the Lord, but anyway, these devils gonna still try to pursue that shit. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse. I'll start at 5. Yeah, also, because he transgressive by wine, by his philosophy, he is a proud man, neither keep him at home, he's in people's business, who enlarges his desire as hell and is as death, raging war with nations, just to get the land, resources, and all that, and make a profit and shit. And it's just, what you gonna do with all these other people that used to be on that land? They're like, shit, let them figure it out. They just better not come back. That's how Esau bitch ass is. Amalek too. And cannot be satisfied. But gather unto him all nations, harping unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, or a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth which is not his. So yeah, basically they just a bunch of thieves taking shit.
You can do this. You can be the first millennial in history to become.
There is an entire lobbying group that is dedicated to Christian Zionists who are promoting the government of Israel. It's infuriating to see that conflation because it does create space for true anti-Semitism, and that's just sickening. It creates a space where a lot of people are a lot less safe. Let's just say it. It is not anti-Semitic to oppose sending billions of dollars to a foreign dictator to carrying out a genocide using American bombs and American money to do it.
They don't care. They gonna call it hate anti-septic tank. They gonna still call it anti-septic tank no matter what. Yeah, they gonna be a whole bunch of. They gonna be anti-septic tank if you protesting against the anything that's Israeli, like the AI centers or whatever the fuck. Anyway, when they'll say the AI center, the AI data centers. Like Larry Flink, that faggot, time on some. We gotta do something. We gotta pass laws and bills against people who is gonna hate data centers being built. Man, bruh. That shows you the earth is getting into the hands of the wicked, bruh. But you people gonna get the morning, man, when these devils come. Anyway.
I actually want to ask you how the Christian Zionist lobby, like that would be Kufi, right? That's one thing. Like, how does the Kufi compare to AIPAC?
Kufi is so much harder to track because unless I'm very mistaken, they're organized as a 501c3, and so their activity is a lot more opaque than what we see from AIPAC. AIPAC has this whole multi-tiered infrastructure. They've got the 501c4, which is AIPAC. They've got the 501c3, which is American Israel Education Foundation. That's the organization that takes the Congress members. I don't know how is this legal, but it is. They take dozens of our Congress members and hundreds of our state legislators to these propaganda trips to Israel every year. And it's all just under the umbrella of education and completely tax free. And then of course they have not one but two PACs. They have AIPAC PAC, and then they have the super PAC, the United Democracy Project PAC.
Right.
So they've got all of those even before we start factoring in the AIPAC allies, which are other lobby groups. We're tracking over 60.
Corey, I'm seeing some people in the chat. Would it be possible just to briefly explain what Kufi is?
Christians United for Israel.
Sorry, yes.
No, it's my fault because I brought it up.
Yeah, no, Christians United for Israel. They're, like I said, they're a 501c3, and also a very good illustration of the point of why what Josh Shapiro just said in that clip is completely off base. There is an entire lobbying group that is dedicated to Christian Zionists who are promoting the government of Israel. It's it's infuriating to see that conflation because it does create space for true anti-Semitism, and that's just sickening. It creates a space where a lot of people are a lot less safe, and let's just say it is not anti-Semitic to oppose sending billions of dollars to a dictator, to a foreign dictator carrying out a genocide using American bombs and American money to do it. There's nothing anti-Semitic about calling that out. If we were sending, I don't know why we would, but if we were sending weapons to Vladimir Putin, I would still be screaming about that. I mean, it's insane.
Well, and by the way, Kufi, someone, I want to screen share a little bit of Kufi. Kufi, they're famous for, what's his name?
All right, whatever. Anyway, if you want to watch the rest of this video, be my guest. There go the title. I ain't gonna finish. It was the Zionist pastors, secret anti septic tank, or anti-Semitic exposed. Whatever. Anyway, next video.
When he lost his son to gun violence, Ken Collier didn't give up hope. He took action.
This is reporting from Responsible Statecraft yesterday. Congress quietly moves to integrate U.S. and Israeli militaries. In the first step towards shifting aid further into the shadows, the House's 2027 NDAA, and that's the National Defense Authorization Act, would all but fuse the two countries' armed forces together. I mean, that is treason. Like, literally the textbook definition. What the heck is going on here? Is the U.S. military actually merging with Israel? Well, I'm here to tell you that after doing all of the research, the truth might actually be even more scary than the clickbait. This is reporting from Responsible Statecraft yesterday. Congress quietly moves to integrate U.S. and Israeli militaries. In the first step towards shifting aid further into the shadows, the House's 2027 NDAA, and that's the National Defense Authorization Act, would all but fuse the two countries' armed forces together. I mean, that is treason. Like, literally the textbook definition. Now, before I get into the details of what is being proposed, I first want to present the larger context here, which is that the U.S. gives billions of dollars in military aid to Israel every single year, around $3 billion a year, but as you can see in this chart, much more in the past few years, and this is voted on annually. And a lot of people, and I think rightly so, point out that this money could be a lot better spent at home to either rebuild our crumbling infrastructure or to invest in domestic projects or programs that would directly benefit the American people. This position is held by the majority of Americans. I know this, you know this, and Israel also knows this, that this level of foreign aid just cannot last. There's just no political will for it to continue, so as they often do, they're cooking up a plan to further deceive the American people. Buried in the House's version of the 2027 National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA, released Tuesday, is Section 224, entitled United States-Israel Defense Technology Cooperation Initiative. The provision would arguably do more to intertwine the U.S. military with the Israeli military than the more than $200 billion in military assistance Israel has received from the United States since its founding in 1948. You see, it's not aid anymore, because our two militaries are actually going to become one. Remember, when a Zionist moves their lips, they're probably lying to you. This is the actual bill right here, Section 224. The U.S.-Israel Defense Technology Cooperation Initiative. This section would require the Secretary of Defense to designate an executive agent responsible for synchronizing cooperative efforts between the United States and Israel, including bilateral defense technology research, development, testing, evaluation, integration, and industrial cooperation. There's actually even specific language around network integration, data fusion, and contested logistics. In other words, our data would be their data, and their problems would be our problems, and the amount of power and leverage they would hold over us would far exceed that of any other country or group. Quote, this unprecedented level of U.S.-Israeli military integration stands in stark contrast to the traditional aid model of defense cooperation, in which Israel already stood out as the top recipient of U.S. military assistance. As laid out in the recent Quincy Institute brief, authored by Stephen Simon, this shift from an aid model to a military integration model has troubling implications. Namely, the shift will strip away the political and diplomatic oversight mechanisms that make the relationship publicly accountable, moving it from a visible annual aid vote into the opaque machinery of defense acquisition, where oversight is limited and political accountability is minimal. The result would be a defense relationship that is simultaneously deeper and less transparent. Now, do you see why Netanyahu's out there publicly claiming, oh, we don't need any more aid from you guys, we're all good over here, when the reality is that they're engaging in basically a hostile takeover of the American military, allegedly. And to reiterate, how it works now is that any aid to Israel would have to be put through a public vote, and there would be public scrutiny of what exactly we're giving to them and how much, but under this new arrangement, much of that would be hidden from the public due to national security, quote unquote. See how that works? And the crazy thing is, we don't even actually share a mutual defense treaty with Israel, as we do with some of our other allies, including the NATO nations. So in practice, we've done a lot to help Israel over the years. But my question is, what have they done for us? I would venture to say
nothing. Oh, they hold on, let's get to that. What has Israel did for America? and brought America to a lot of wars that a lot of people that's investing in these wars made a lot of money because of Israel. Brought them into those wars. What was it Jeremiah chapter 50 verse no. Hold on, is it this one? Yeah, Jeremiah chapter 50 verse. I'll just get with 50. Yeah, start at 45. We got to start at 45. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, that he hath taken against Babylon, talking about America, and his purpose, that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. So that's what Israel has done for, well, Amalek has done for America. He drew out the flock. Well, I mean, the least of the flock shall draw them out. And he drew them, the least of the flock drew out America to go to war with all these other countries, and these other countries going to war with America. And, you know, and surely he will make surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So what's coming for Israel is, or the land of Israel, the people that's over there in the land of Israel is also coming to America. But even much worse. What you looking at?
Say absolutely nothing. Leia from the Leia Files points to a number of red
I ain't playing no more. Let's get to Cal Milowski. No, actually, shit. What the fuck? How did this move? You two fucking up my order, man.
All right, guys, so I got to give you these big breaking updates here, but Israel is at it again and is just as bad as it's ever.
Is it the same? Yeah, it's the same news. No, it's right. Well, fuck it. Might as well just let it keep playing.
Ever been, if not incredibly worse, because they feel like there's no rules, there's no regulations, there's no international body to check them. They have a complete green light from the U.S. And now they're trying to do to Lebanon exactly what they did to Gaza. So first, let me show you this. Here indeed is what they did to Gaza. Satellite imagery shows Gaza increasingly reshaped as military controls expands entire neighborhoods, farmland, and even cemeteries reportedly erased. This is not just battlefield damage. It reflects long-term territorial transformation on the ground. So here's what Gaza looked like before. Okay, this is what it looked like before. Here's what it looks like now. When they say that, you know, about 80 to 85% of the buildings in Gaza have been wiped out, I actually think that's out of date. I think we're at about 95% of the buildings in Gaza have been completely destroyed. And I don't know how anybody on the face of the earth can look at that and not come to the inevitable conclusion that this was purposeful, that this is genocide, this is ethnic cleansing, this is wiping a place off the map, this is land theft, this is remaking everything in the image of Israel, this is making Gaza part of the greater Israel project. Now, I believe on Wikipedia, they're referring to places in Gaza in the past tense. Because again, Israel has totally wiped it off the map. I don't know how anybody can look at this and how anybody can defend this. In fact, if you look at this and you're still pro-Israel to any extent whatsoever, I think you're monstrous. I do. I think you're monstrous. I think you're barbaric. Israel, having killed every child, every sheep, every dog and cat, having destroyed every tree, every road, every building in southern Gaza, is now bulldozing the remnants, every gravestone, every sign that anyone ever lived here. It's a Holocaust. I think that's exactly right. Israeli forces occupied Beaufort Castle in southern Lebanon today, the first time the IDF has been there since Israel's full withdrawal in May 2000, 26 years ago. Beaufort Castle sits on a strategic ridge near the Litani River and has deep historical significance for both sides. So here they are. Here's the IDF goons taking this castle. They raised the Israeli flag on Lebanese territory. There's no dispute, there's no argument, there's no other opinion or other side to this. This, without a doubt, is Lebanese territory, and they're raising the Israeli flag in the same way that they stole the Golan Heights from Syria, in the same way that they're doing mission creep in the West Bank and stealing more and more of the West Bank and trying to fully annex and ethnically cleanse the West Bank. And there's pogroms there on a regular basis from Orthodox psychopaths, illegal settler Orthodox psychopaths who assault grandmas and steal houses and then brag about it. Okay? That's what's going on in Lebanon. But it's even worse than that, because I've been saying on this show that Israel is stealing South Lebanon up until the Litani River. Well, no, now they're expanding beyond the Litani River. So Ben Gvir, this terrorist psychopath, comes out and says, he calls for the suburbs of Beirut to be, quote, flattened. He says, flatten the suburbs of Beirut. Do to Beirut exactly what was done to Gaza. 700,000 civilians now, as I talk to you right now, are in the midst of panicking and trying to evacuate and save their lives. They grab whatever gatherings they can in the tiny amount of time they have, hop in a car and try to get the fuck out of Dodge, knowing Israel is about to carpet bomb and level the entire city of Beirut. And nobody's talking about this. The media's not talking about this. The Democrats aren't talking about this. The Republicans certainly aren't talking about this. And if they did, they would talk about it with glee and joy, because they're nothing but a terrorist death cult. Okay, they're bloodthirsty, bloodlusting terrorist death cult. But how many innocent people's lives are about to be destroyed? How many innocent people are about to be murdered and displaced because the Israeli terrorist rape state is stealing more and more territory right in front of our face and not even bothering to do the bullshit civilizing mission, spreading democracy type of propaganda. They're just saying, yeah, we're going to take it and there's nothing you can do to fucking stop us. And Trump's sitting on the sidelines cheering it on and golfing in Virginia. Are you kidding me? All right, Al Jazeera English says the following. Israel has destroyed Ark al-Maluk, a beloved landmark resort and restaurant owned by Lebanese chef Hussein Fayyad in Wadi al-Hujair, southern Lebanon. The restaurant became known for providing free meals to displaced families during the war. So Israel is now in the midst of bombing this beautiful resort in Lebanon. This is the guy cooking in the resort. Very high class, high level stuff, you know. And this is after the bombing. May 30th bombing. It's gone now. This is where the resort was. That's what it looked like at the top, and the bottom is what it looks like now. Completely destroyed. Completely destroyed. So they're bombing hospitals, they're bombing resorts, they're going after everything. Al Jazeera confirms the Washington-backed Zionist regime is illegally occupying a staggering 20% of Lebanon, systematically destroying dozens of villages. Over 1 million civilians are displaced as relentless airstrikes devastate major cities. Watch this.
Israeli troops have crossed the Litani River and they're now advancing north. They're now occupying roughly 2,000 square kilometers of Lebanon. That's nearly 20% of the country. And over the past weeks and months, Israel has destroyed dozens of villages in the south. The latest push has brought Israeli forces closer to Nabatiyah. They've also advanced to Zawtar al-Sharqiyya, that's a town southeast of the city, and also pushed into the village of Shukin. Hezbollah says its fighters confronted Israeli troops here, fighting at a close range. The Israeli military has also issued forced evacuation orders to Shukin and other areas in the district, and forcing people out of their homes. More than 1 million have been displaced. At the same time, these areas have come under relentless Israeli strikes, including Nabatiyah, the city, and the villages and towns in the district.
Absolutely disgusting what we're witnessing here. Again, I want you to think of...
Stop right there. If you want to watch the rest of the video, they go to the title of the channel. That's Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 3. No, this ain't it. I keep doing it. I mean, Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear fruit, the people mourn. You see, these people are supposed to be claiming to be the Israelites. But they would be treating their slaves with better than this. Treat your cattle better. They can't, because it's not in them to, because they're not the people. They're a bunch of fucking devils, bunch of terrorists, bunch of demons, bunch of niggers. Shit. But hey, when Yahweh Shah return and raise up his people, the elect of Israel, we're going to show you how to righteously rule the world, especially rule over our heathens. We're going to have them being housed and fed and taken care of, but they're going to work their ass off as slaves to build our kingdom up. And yeah, and that's how you treat your cattle. Y'all going to have to take notes, Amalek, Esau. Because while y'all taking notes, y'all going to be taking a damn whoop up your ass. Gonna whoop the shit out of your ass. Your ass gonna jump up high. Your ass start slacking when you pushing on boulders and shit. We gonna pop your ass with a damn whip. Pow! Break some skin, nigga. Just like you did to us, nigga. This same topic, but different video from a different channel. Let's get it.
Honey? Mm-hmm? I have a friend.
I want to emphasize the importance of the average American fully embracing this revolutionary moment, because that is what we're living through. And it is growing leaps and bounds by the day. We know this because, while I don't look at one specific poll as anything other than an outlier, the norm of consistency regarding where the United States and its citizenry feels as of this moment regarding the state of Israel could not be more obvious, that we are moving in a direction away from supporting that country to the point in which the support will no longer exist in the not-too-distant future. Unfortunately, because of the fact that, from a conscious perspective, the average American no longer wants anything to do with Israel. What that also means is that the powers that be have a choice. They're either going to adhere to the will of the people, or they're going to continue to double, triple, quadruple, and then some down on what they believe is the necessary direction that this country should be going in from this K-shaped economy that's broken.
Wrong. I thought that one video was this Sanowski guy was talking about the same thing as this guy. Well, this video is supposed to be talking about the same thing as this one, but fuck it anyway. I had mixed all it up.
Can be on recognition at this point. And so with that said, Despite all of the data that we are seeing, despite all of the information that has been presented to us in terms of how this country truly feels about the state of Israel, we are now faced with this reality about not only Israel, but the data center.
You know what? They got no choice. U.S. and Israel, I mean, they been in an alliance. And guess what? It's prophecy. These niggas gonna join together forces because the rest of the world gonna fucking go to war with them niggas. Yeah.
That are popping up all over this country. So the piece that I wrote, which is a relatively short piece, but it's to the point, and it kind of covers a lot of the ground of what we were talking about, is going to follow what, Colin, let's do the Instagram post first so we can sort of lay the foundation and then we can run into the story. And so here is what is the current state of affairs regarding this Section 224 of what would be the 2027 National Defense Authorization Act. So, Colin, can I please have what I requested? I need the Instagram story. Congress quietly moves to integrate U.S. and Israeli militaries. So if you can't convince the people to support this initiative, what's the next best thing? You just go behind their backs and don't tell them about it. Buried in the House's version of the 2027 National Defense Authorization Act, released on Tuesday, is Section 224 entitled United States-Israel Defense Technology Cooperation Initiative. The provision would arguably do more to intertwine the U.S. military and the Israeli military than more than the $200 billion that we're aware of in military assistance Israel has received from the U.S. since its founding in 1948. Section 224 lays the groundwork for bilateral research and development, co-production of weapons, joint ventures, licensing agreements, and seemingly every manner of the U.S. military-industrial complex cooperation. The U.S. and Israel already work together heavily on missile defense, but this provision would greatly expand coordination to seemingly every area of defense tech, including AI, quantum, autonomous systems, directed energy, cyber biotech.
What the hell is that? Cyber biotech. Got it something to do with some implantable microchips, I'm guessing. The mark of the beast? Yeah.
And much more. It also proposes network integration and data fusion. In other words, the U.S. military's data could soon be the Israeli military's data. Not soon, but will be. If fully enacted, this proposal would provide a higher level of military-industrial integration than the U.S. has with any other country in the world. To be sure, the U.S. has worked closely with its NATO partners on co-production and shared supply chains, most notably via the Defense Production Action Plan. And as the number one arms dealer in the world, of course we are, the U.S. provides weapons to militaries across the globe. But that is mostly a one-way street, with the U.S. providing weapons to foreign buyers who only occasionally make parts for those weapons themselves, as in the case of the F-35's global supply chain. Section 224 would be a different beast entirely. It would fuse the U.S. and Israeli defense sectors in multiple areas vital to the battlefields of the future, like autonomous systems and cyber. It would also bring extraordinary Israeli influence to the U.S. beyond what is already, and through the Israel lobby and its robust network of social media influencers. It would give the Israeli government the opportunity to greatly expand one of the most powerful levers of influence in U.S. politics: jobs in the U.S. And that's the big one. You know, we've seen over the years, I always point to Elizabeth Warren being the biggest hypocrite of them all, because this is a person who claims to be on the side of not being part of the war machine, and yet, when it comes to jobs, especially defense jobs, they're a very big part of the Massachusetts economy, and she is fully on board with that. So we're going to also get to Bernie shortly, and you'll see why. So this is a huge part of it. The jobs program is often what gets people to shut up, because if the economy becomes so dependent on this idea that if we do not go along to get along because it would affect our economic balance, this is how they get away with crimes against humanity, war crimes. They just integrate it seamlessly into our economy that we don't see. But remember, this is coming up for a vote, and you're going to be able to know who's on your side and who's on the side of not only forever war, but prefers Israel over the United States. By expanding or starting new co-production facilities like it already has in Mississippi and Arkansas, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, what is the common thread amongst the two states, Arkansas and Mississippi? They happen to be two of the three poorest states in the country, along with West Virginia. So why is that a big deal? It's a big deal because it basically drives this unholy alliance together in a sense that when you have two states like Mississippi and Arkansas that are desperate for any type of commerce, they're getting it through the military-industrial complex, and they sure as hell are not going to complain about it. If this is going to produce jobs, it's going to create some type of an economic whirlwind that is positive for these two states in particular, then everything else be damned. You put people in desperate situations, they are going to go down this road. And so, it is thereby securing allies among members of Congress who represent the districts whose jobs where those jobs lie. So this is a tale as old as time. This has been going on forever. It's how you keep people in line. Jobs, baby. We don't ask how the jobs got there. We don't even ask what the jobs do. We just ask, are they going to pay a living wage? Good. Then all other questions are not relevant. The result could well be a U.S. political system even more susceptible to the whims of an Israeli government that seemingly has no qualms about drawing the U.S. into military conflicts in the Middle East. The unprecedented level of U.S.-Israeli military integration stands in stark contrast to the traditional air model of defense cooperation, in which Israel already stood out as the top recipient of U.S. military assistance, as laid out in a recent Quincy Institute brief, authored by one of us, Steve Simon. This shift from an aid model to a military integration model has troubling implications, namely,
smart founders know something most people.
Since it stopped right there, how much time we got? Yeah, 55 minutes. I'm good now. This is enough. If you want to watch the rest of the video, they go to title. If they go to channel, I'm gonna wrap it up. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 8, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord Yahweh by Shema shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, using his prophets, exposing these devils, and shall not destroy. I'm tripping. And shall destroy, not destroy, but shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him who's coming after the working of Satan with all power, signs, and lying wonders. And who that him be that's coming after the working of Satan with all powers, lying wonders, or all power, signs, and lying wonders? Esau, Edom, so-called white man, but he ain't white. He's red. He's a baby dick sucking Jewish faggot nigger. Amalek. Anyway, that's all I got to show and talk about. So, hey man, stay prayed up, Yahweh Shema Shah, and seek the Lord by seeking his prophets, and take heed of what to say, and try to build a spiritual mental relationship with Yahweh Shema Shah by praying Yahweh Shema Shah, praising Yahweh Shema Shah, worship Yahweh Shema Shah, fearing Yahweh Shema Shah, and repenting of Yahweh Shema Shah. To all the men out there pushing this truth and none but the truth in the name, spirit, and the power of Yahweh Shema Shah, keep on preaching, keep on teaching, keep your faith and your trust strong, Yahweh Shema Shah, stay humble. And for you few sisters out there taking heed, keep your faith and trust strong, Yahweh Shema Shah. Stay humble, stay in order with your man. If you ain't got no man, stay in order, Yahweh Shema Shah. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, and all praises to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah. And hold on. Nah, I'm gonna say this for something else. I'm gonna check this video out before I do. I was thinking about just go ahead and let this play to add into the collection of the rest of these videos, but now I'm gonna close it out. But anyway, Shalom.